the fort with you? Really? Missy? Okay, this is hobby videotaping.
What?
Me.
What?
Me.
No. Do you go potty? No, no. Why do you have this?
Hi, my name is Havilah. I'm a secondary filmmaker. I'm making a story about me.
Excuse me?
I guess my brother helped me a little bit.
Nice try, Squirt. The truth is, it's not just about her, it's for her. And for all the other 1 in 800 kids born with Down syndrome. People ask me all the time, what is it like to have a sister with Down syndrome? Well, the fact is that's a pretty broad question. There are so many things that are different. And then again, there are so many things that are the same. Nothing is ever that black and white. There are still things that I don't understand about my sister. There are still things that doctors don't understand about my sister. And there are lots of things that scientists don't understand about space. The point is, you don't have to understand everything to enjoy it. Lots of people are surprised when they meet Havilah for the first time because she breaks the mold of everything they anticipated. When I started this documentary, I didn't know what I was going to find. I just turned on the camera and listened.
Yeah, goodbye, Mama. Say goodbye, Mama.
Yeah, you want?
So we've been married 30 years. I'll be 31 in next year. And we met in Georgia. I'm from Massachusetts. He's from California, and God got us together in Georgia. He was in the military. I was a first-year school teacher. Met at church. Originally, he wasn't going to date me. He changed his mind. And 3 days later, he decided he was going to marry me.
Stars get brighter and skies turn blue. Then the moment
We have 6 children, and the ages from 16 to 29.
The first one was born 3 days after our first anniversary. So we started rather quickly, and we moved to Texas when she was just 1 year old. And we've been here in this home, on this property now for, 28 years?
A long time.
I'll be okay.
We first found out that Havilah had Downs when in the hospital, I think about 3 hours after her birth.
For mothers who are at high risk, and that would primarily be women who are older in age, they will probably be pre-screened so that they would find out prior to the delivery of the child.
I was 36, and yes, they did want to do an amnio. They did want to do further testing while I was carrying the baby. And I said, no, I don't need to. And he said, well, legally, they're obligated to do that because, unfortunately, 90% of women who find out they're having a child with Down syndrome, or the tests are showing that, they'll automatically abort the baby. Now, our doctor, thankfully, he knew that wasn't going to be an option for us, even if they had found that test. But the amniocentesis actually is, to me, it's high risk, and a lot of babies, even typical babies, can be miscarried with the amnio. So we didn't want to go that risk. We didn't want to find that out. And for our choice, it didn't matter. We were going to love this little one.
When she was born, I recognized something, and I was asking the nurses about it. And the nurses really would not comment back to me. And so finally the doctor came and pulled me aside, pulled me into the hallway, and commented that he knew I was asking questions, and so he wanted to fill in those voids. And that's when he told me that he has many signs that she's Down syndrome.
Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder. Trisomy 21, there are 46 chromosomes usually, and in the 21st chromosome Sometimes there's a portion of another chromosome that comes into the mix.
At birth, her brain is identical to a typical child's brain. Children born with Down syndrome, their brains are identical to a brand new baby. At the 6-month point, their brain cells begin to deteriorate. And basically, some people have tried to say that Down syndrome should be a degenerative disease instead of a syndrome, because basically that's what happened. Her brain cells are deteriorating. And so everything that we do for her is to stop, somehow slow that process down, so her brain cells will function as they can, as long as they can.
Down syndrome children have characteristic faces with what we call a Mongolian slant to their eyes, common almond-sized eyes. They have what's called brush-filled spots, which are in the colored part of the eyes. More of a rounded face, usually a crease called the simian crease in their hands. It may be one or both hands, or maybe none at all. There are a lot of children who have simian creases who don't have Down syndrome as well.
Their front teeth don't come together. There is a space between them. They can have what we call a posterior crossbite, and that means that their upper arch or their upper teeth is actually a little bit constricted, and we like it to be a little bit wider. They a lot of times present with a class 3 malocclusion. What that means is that the lower jaw is ahead of the upper jaw. And that doesn't necessarily mean the lower jaw is more forward. It can mean that the upper jaw is a little bit behind. So you can't just blame the lower jaw for looking as if it appears to be more forward. Sometimes we refer to the upper jaw being hypoplastic. It just means it's kind of behind.
She's had therapy to try and help build her muscle tone. It's affected her speech, so I didn't realize that breastfeeding was one of the best things we could have done to help build up her muscles. So we've done oral motor to help in her speech development. We've done horseback riding because the posture helps in her speech, to the diaphragm, everything to be in the right place.
We put her in baskets that she'd learn to sit up and learn to get her muscles coordinated.
Hi, Havilah.
Where she would scoot all the way down the beach on her rear end.
Like
That's the way she walked. You know, she didn't crawl, but she just scooted her rear end. Even though she didn't speak, I could tell her, go get certain things, go get your pink socks. She would go get them. So I knew she had understanding. If we were in the store, go put that back where you got it from, and she might have to walk 3 aisles to go put it back.
The comprehension
Yeah.
outdid her vocabulary. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We then had to start teaching her sign language just to get communication going.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Samuel, move. Bye.
Yep, said it.
Push. Bye. You gonna show her how to clap?
Sure.
How come it's not focusing? Havilah.
Initially I thought, I don't know. I've raised 5 other children. How am I going to take care of this one? It sounds silly, I know, but I thought, how will I know how to take care of her? I didn't know. Went to an institution, saw these children with special needs, and my heart just broke for them because they were not loved. They weren't cared for. They were oftentimes in cribs that they couldn't get out for. You know, they would just wander aimlessly around the institution, and you know that they wanted love, you know. And it's interesting that that affection is often associated with children with Down syndrome, and it seems that that was the very thing lacking in the institution. So the things that they needed, that nurturing, to say that they can be productive citizens, that they are, that was never provided for them in those institutions, or not to the degree that raising a child with special needs in your home could give. For some reason, there's a window, a time, and children with Downs often like to wander. And during that time, I don't know if she was 3, 4, 5, 6, is that window? I don't remember, but I do know I've called 911 twice thinking she had taken off and ran around, you know, in the neighborhood. Asked some of our neighbors that have been called before.
Well, she's the one that'll get into any box, any little house.
Where you going?
Peekaboo.
Yeah, she was trying to get her
Dryers. She goes into the dryers.
One time I called 911 and I had already called, looked all of the yard, the neighborhood, and that little girl was sitting on a toy Jeep behind some curtains that were hanging in our line. But she just decided not to answer me. I thought it was pretty funny when Mommy found her behind the sheet sitting in a car, just happy as could be.
She's happy as a lark. She's walking away. No one's even around her. She's just as happy as could be.
And then the second time, somehow, I can't imagine how she got lost in a house with 6 children, but somehow she had found a way to wedge herself behind a sofa and had fallen asleep back there. And so that's why she didn't hear us calling her, because she was there playing behind the sofa. See, she was born in November, so about 6 weeks later, just at a routine checkup, our regular pediatrician said, you know, she was having a hard time getting weight. It was an issue for her to try to gain weight.
She's since passed that up.
Well, yeah. So there was a debate if I was going to have to supplement or what we were going to do to help her gain some weight after that 6-week time. And the doctor, her normal pediatrician, Dr. Heron, found he thought a hole in her heart. And so he asked us to follow up at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, and we did. And at that point, they were amazed, the specialists were amazed that Dr. Heron heard it, because it was actually a large hole. He said the larger holes are really harder to hear. The smaller ones, the pressure of the sound going through that hole are easier to spot and find. She actually ended up having 2 holes in her heart, one fairly large and one a little bit smaller, and a mitral valve defect. It was actually atrioventricular canal defect. It's the huge name that they gave us. They gave us a diagram of her heart and what they were watching, and so we went often. I want to say at least every 6 months maybe, and then it went to maybe once a year. They did echoes, they did, ultrasounds. The doctor that we first started with was a little bit older and maybe a little wiser, and he said, you know what, let's wait for technology. She's not showing symptoms of turning blue or getting winded. Let's wait and see what happens, because technology is going to only get more advanced. So let's just wait and see what happens. And so everybody was really surprised that she was already 10 before we even went in for this type of surgery.
All the doctors, interns, or assistants would always ask, are you seeing her turn blue? Are you seeing any signs of this heart defect? And they were always amazed, because she ran around, she did such activities, but never showed any symptoms. And that was good, because not only did she wait for technology, but also as she grew bigger, it gave them more room to do the work.
Yeah, they do have trouble gaining too much weight. Again, it probably has to do with their metabolism as a whole, but it runs slower, so they really have to be very active and have a lot of extracurricular activities to kind of burn that off and everything.
She's 4'8" and 200 pounds, and she's been at that maybe for the past 3 years, and maybe more. I don't know. We'd have to look at the doctor's records. He could tell you. But it's just been a struggle. We've got her involved. She's been swimming, horseback riding. We have tried to keep her as active as we can. Her lunches are salads and, fruit, maybe a cup of yogurt. We give her water, or like the 10-calorie packs of some flavor for the water.
Yeah, you might.
She doesn't eat school lunches, so we can't blame the school lunches on that. If she brings a lunch. And that is because she doesn't want to wait in line, so she can get her food, get started eating.
But you might think that she's always had that the weight problem. She really didn't. Not until she had the surgery. That kind of shifted things. She has, she takes thyroid medicine. And so also, because she is our youngest, possibly we treated her differently with foods. So I think all of them coming together at the same time is what caused this. It's kind of like the perfect storm type thing. But we're readjusting. We're readjusting her meals. that we don't have to have desserts every night. And just trying to, it's actually going back. I know just for myself, I gained a lot of weight during the same time frame, and that just was a lifestyle change. So a lot of change in the family, and she got caught up being the youngest one too.
Over time, parents learn a little bit, relax a little bit, and expectations alter. I wouldn't say drop, but they do change. And I think that parenting is a learning process. I don't think one ever really quite perfects the skill.
I think there's something that we haven't unlocked yet about her in the Down syndrome, and something in her body that's just unlocked. I mean, we had her on a diet plan the same as me for at least a month. I lost 15 pounds, she lost nothing. And we were eating the same things 99% of the time. So I don't understand what is happening or why. And I haven't found a doctor yet who knows that answer for me, or what tests we need to do to find out why is her body. Is it storing? One theory is that she's not digesting everything, and so her body is storing that as fat cells. So yes, we've increased enzymes to see if that will help break the food down better and help her eliminate it better, so that the excess food is not being stored. But she's on a high school swim team. She's swimming, a lot of times 2 hours a day. So
families who welcome a child who has a disability, the child with a disability can take a lot of focus away from the other children. More time and effort, more doctor's visits, more education, training, or what have you. Just it requires extra effort. So not that the effort shouldn't be given, but it starts to wobble the family. If you think of a top that spins, add a child with a disability into that top, and it wobbles a little bit.
Havilah has, I think, more potential than most Down's children. She's, as we said, we've started at a very early age, helping her with all the things I mentioned as far as therapy, and she's done very well and is in high school now, and I think doing very well in her classes.
I'm in theater. I'm in how to care of like horses, and that's the class I'm in. I'm in history. I'm in science. I'm in math. I'm in English.
Havilah had such an amazing attitude towards school and toward her peers, and so with Havilah it was always very easy because she was eager.
I draw, like this one, for example, and this I drew. I was in art, and this I draw last year. It was pretty fun.
With Down syndrome, you can have really a wide array in terms of the manifestation of the cognitive disability. So
Once a child is in special ed, there's an ARD meeting once a year, unless the parent or the school feels like there needs to be one for some other reason. And that committee consists of her family or her parents and her teachers, and a special ed teacher, an administrator, and that's typically it. And then a diagnostician runs the meeting and does the testing. It can decide things from behavior plans to specific academic support in the classroom, from accommodations, which would be things that would help her in the classrooms, like more time on a test, things like that. Or it could be modifications, which would be where we didn't ask as much of her as we did of the other kids who were in the class. We would get specific with the concepts we wanted her to master.
It's Maze.
Oh, nice, huh?
She had a help because her mom was active on campus, and a substitute knew the programs, knew the teachers, knew the facility. Not all students have that help with them, and they struggle a little bit more than she would have, without a doubt.
She is one of the most just kind and loving children I've ever met. And so I really enjoyed working with her. And I think also what aided in her success was the parental support that she had. I mean, I would, you know, let her mom know what we were studying in class, and she would go home and work with her one-on-one, and that really helped Havilah a lot. So I think parental involvement is also a key to success.
We worked to get Havilah into every class with the general ed population that she wanted and was successful in. And then when she was there, we worked to be sure that we gave her any kind of support she might need with modifications or anything else. You know, Havilah was on our dance team, and she did a great job when she was on our dance team and seemed to just love it. And I would pass her practicing every day, just giving everything she had to be out there with her peers, and it was wonderful.
I'm in theater because I saw like 2007 or something, Sam and Nathaniel and Jacob and Tabitha and Naomi was acting. And Naomi was backstage with Miss Mac on 2007. And I won't be in theater because the more I think about it, last year I was thinking, like, 2007, I was thinking about being in theater because my sister's in it, and I think it'd be fun being in it.
There were times when she was a ballerina at 3 or 4 taking ballet classes and refused to get up on stage, but they kind of knew that, and they were kind enough and brought her little trophy participation to us. But then when she was in choir in the 7th and 8th grade in junior high, she had no problem standing on the front row with the rest of the girls and singing. So that's a big accomplishment for her to be able to stay on stage. Of course, we have to remind her, you know, that Hannah Montana had to start somewhere. So if you want to be on stage, you have to, you know, practice being on stage. She started on stage somewhere when she was in school. So, so she has her.
So many hours spent with her working different groups, if it be Girl Scouts or if it be in school, that they would get her, even in church, get her involved in something that was going to be on stage. And gotta admit it, from my point of view, it was like, why are we doing this? She's not going to do it. And so yeah, that time when she finally can start being on stage, that was quite an achievement.
I love to sing a lot. And I'm good at singing a lot. I love being singing.
Like a diamond in the sky. Up, I forgot the word. The world so high. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. God has placed you where you are. Yay! Good job.
Tell the horsey.
Buzzard!
Woo! Amy.
Did you name your horse now? What is it, your old one?
Can you ride the horsey over here to Daddy?
She's been riding horseback, hippotherapy, and now really she's just getting trained in riding since she was 3. So that's about 14 years. Everybody, every human wants to be successful. Every human wants to know that they can do something good or something right. And it's been neat to see her have her self-esteem be raised up because, I mean, just think of it. This horse is huge. They're huge. I don't know much about horses, but there's ways to read horses. There's ways to communicate to horses. There's a whole world of involving horses, and she's a part of it. And she has, through the years, ridden different horses through different therapy programs, and you can just tell when there's a good match. The horse knows what Havilah's sensing, and Havilah can express to the horse the right way, you know, what to do, how to turn. She's right now competes in Special Olympics horseback and also a Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo program called Top Hands.
Can you do me a favor and take these over to Miss Sarah? You know where she is? She's like right around the corner of over on the other barn, tied up. I'll be right behind you with the stuff.
I think we finally found a good pair with her and Sarah. I think that horse rider relationship is just a beautiful thing to watch. I've seen her bloom in the last 6 months like I've never seen her bloom before. Like, her riding skills are just above and beyond. And I don't think it's going to be long and you're going to be cantering. I think you and Sarah are a good team. Sarah is really just easy peasy. She's kind of like what they call a push button horse. You ask her to do something and she'll just do it. She's, and even if you're not sure if you're asking her the right way, she'll be like, whatever, we'll just do it anyways. She makes a lot of good decisions, you know. And Havilah just has a way. She's a very quiet rider. And when I say that, I mean not yelling and screaming, but she has a way of asking Sarah to do things like with her legs or with her hands, or if she wants her to stop, she doesn't like pull back and say, whoa. She just says, whoa, and she'll just stop. Sarah's very responsive, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. Havilah has a way of just communicating with her that is just like magic. They just work so well together. She's ridden horses that were super bouncy, and I'm just trying to keep her bottom in the seat, you know, and Sarah just has an easy little way about her, and she just rides her beautifully. It's just a perfect little match, I think. She rode, last year was her first year she did her show independently. I wasn't in there. She didn't have a leader. She didn't have a sidewalker. And I took a lot of deep breath, and then she gets a medal, and I'm just like, yes, it was awesome. It was just a beautiful moment.
You have to wear boots and helmet to make you safe. What's your rodeo? Riding horses. And they have to, like, when you go out and other people see you, you have to, like, when the person says trot, you trot. When you trot, you can't bounce on the horse. And you bounce on the horse, you get a whipping or something. And in first place, kind of like a buck buckle, and you get a trophy. You're like in 6th place or something like that. You have to sit down deep in the saddle, and you try to deep inside in your trot. And yeah, I went first place. That was kind of fun. Pinto's one of my favorite horses.
Why?
A pinto.
Why?
Because they're pretty colors.
What kind of colors?
Like orange, like brown, and white. That's a pinto.
From the time that an individual is identified with a more significant or more severe disability, that parent has the ability to put the child on a waiting list. And in many locations, they need to put the child on the waiting list at a very early age, as soon as they are identified, so that by the time they would become an adult, they would be eligible for care as an adult.
We found out that there's a list of in-home and family support, which we got on, and we received, and that gave us almost $3,000 a year for supplementing our income if we needed to modify our home, which we didn't. But we were able to get her some music therapy, through Kinder Music. We were able to get her all her vitamin and nutrition program paid for. It paid for the hippotherapy, because insurance won't cover these things. It won't cover speech therapy unless she had it to lose, which is just the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. So we had to take care of all these things out of our pocket. So thankfully, yes, it was tedious. We had to keep track of all the receipts. We had to have the estimate of what it will cost for the next year. We had to reapply each year, but it was well worth it during that time.
Children with Down syndrome in particular can be quite stubborn at times, and which is fun to, its own extent.
Sam wants us to show the world what you have to take.
Mom, can you please bring it over here?
No, Sam needs a light over here.
Mom, my knee hurts from walking.
Come on.
Mom!
Okay, you're in the back seat now.
I'm not being in the back seat.
Then you should have come the first time I called you. Okay. Come on. Right now she's taking her ginkgo biloba. She takes the ginkgo biloba, helps her brain to have better short-term memory. She's taking a daily enzyme that helps her body digest the food. She is taking pro-DHA that helps her brain to function. She, let's see what else is in there. She takes 2 out of 3 paracetam she takes a day. The paracetam is a nootropic drug that helps her brain to function also. The left and right neurotransmitters to communicate with each other. And what else have we?
Big white one.
The big white one, yeah, that's the paracetam. And then she also takes a multivitamin of sorts. It's called targeted nutrition, and that is targeted just to reach those areas that she doesn't, her body doesn't have, which kids with Downs are naturally deficient in zinc, so it has some zinc, helps build their immune system. And that's about it. Is that about it? She already took her thyroid medicine in the morning, so. There's a little yellow one in there she's telling me. That's a vitamin D. And they've found that they've needed to increase the amount that our kids with vitamin D take.
Every other one.
Yeah, that's the pro-DHA, yeah. It's strawberry flavored, but before she could swallow capsules, which we're really glad she can do capsules now, she took, she had to take them in her juices. I'd have to open all the capsules and put them in her juice and mix it all up for her. And we're just glad she can take capsules now.
One of the first things I remember starting to teach her was breathing patterns when you're swimming. She could already move through the water, but once she learned the breathing pattern, she'd be able to swim longer distances because she wouldn't lose her breath. But then we worked our way from that. We went through breaststroke, and I remember that kick being pretty difficult for her and took her a long time to learn. But then we made it all the way to butterfly, and the moment that she started learning that dolphin kick, that was just natural to her. She learned it from day one, had it better than everyone else in the class, and was doing the full butterfly stroke by the time I was done with her. And usually that stroke is considered to be the hardest one by a lot of swimmers.
Anyway, look.
Well, we'll start with her 100 free. Her best time is 54. That was swum her freshman year. And then this year she swam the 100 butterfly and she's at 3 minutes. She also swims on relays for me. And those times are approximately the same as what she's swimming now.
I'm doing freestyle 4 times.
But what is freestyle?
Freestyle, you go like this. That's freestyle. And you cup your hand like this and go like a little speed. More speed.
She definitely was the last swimmer out of the water, you know, tagging the side of the pool. But to have the entire crowd cheering her and applauding her, you know, that's what it's going to take for our kids. You know, they need that acceptance. They need that part to be accepted by others. And I've been privy to hear little conversations of some of the high school boys over the summer. She did a swim league over the summer, and they were kind of talking. They said, yeah, is that girl here? Yeah, she's here. She's there. Where? She's in the water. There she is. Oh, yeah. We have a kid like that has Down syndrome at our school, too. That's so cool that she's here swimming on this team. And so it gets the word out. I guess she's the word for the, you know, what can kids do? What is the possibility? And how much more alike are they to her peers than different?
I think that in the end, most parents are able to achieve a very happy, joyful, feeling about their child. Of course, they love their child very much, and it may not have been their vision in the beginning, but it works into being its own vision.
You know, there's so much I don't know. There's probably other parents and new families coming that are going to be in the same place we were. We didn't know we were expecting a child with Downs. Here we are. We need to find out what we need to do for our child. So I wanted to network with other parents. I started something local, and it began with just some families meeting together and discussing what our kids need. We have speakers that come.
If the expectation is not there, the children don't develop. So you can see a drastic difference between those who've been involved in 10 Miracles and those who haven't.
So we've been doing that for quite a while and trying to help other families of children with Down syndrome. We have a newsletter we produce. We have baby baskets that we bring if we find out that they're expecting in the hospital. And one of the things that we put in is something called Welcome to Holland, and it's written by Emily Pearl Kingsley. And she was asked to describe what it's like having a child with special needs. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and make your wonderful plans. The Colosseum, the Michelangelo David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands, and the stewardess comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." Holland, you say? What do you mean Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life I've dreamed of going to Italy. But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence and famine and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out and buy new guidebooks. You must learn a whole new language, and you'll meet a whole new group of people that you would never have met. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy than Italy, but after you've been there for a while and you catch your breath, you look around and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills and has tulips. Holland even has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had there. And for the rest of your life, you will say, yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned. The pain of that will never ever go away, because the loss of that dream is a very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland. Welcome to Holland. You know, Emily says that the pain will never go away, and I know that perhaps there was a season in my life where I really began to question and wonder if that was so. And I want the world to know that the pain does go away. Did we do enough for her? And I think that's kind of how we raised her. I wanted to open as many doors for her that we could to see, you know, what is her giftings? What is her place going to be in this world? And, you know, that's the hardest thing. Did we do it right? Did we open as many doors for her as we could?
We are gonna see a movie tonight.
Abby?
Why I get out?
Did you go get 3 tickets for me?
Mommy.
Don't you want to? Not really. You don't want to get out and get 3 tickets?
Mommy.
Just wait for me. Just stand there and wait. No?
Okay.
Okay, stand there and wait. My purse is, I think, right over the floor.
What do you think Megamind's gonna be like?
I'm gonna be funny. Funny and various. Various indeed.
So are you going to tell Ginger, or do I have to tell her? It's her birthday.
Happy birthday! I didn't realize there was a reason here.
On a Monday night, yeah, Monday night, yes.
Great.
Happy birthday!
Come on.
Happy birthday, Havilah.
Look who's here.
Don't be over Just let it go.
There's so many days.
How's your outfit?
We're gonna watch a movie.
Is that okay with you? Yeah. All right. Don't knock down.
It's so hard to be almost inside for so long. So long, just dream a little, breathe a little, and everything is gonna be just
cold water surrounds me now, and all I've got is your hand. Lord, can you hear me now? Lord, can you hear me now? Lord, can you hear me now? Or am